What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Define Your Legacy. I'm your host, it's Elijah McBee, and we got Danny on the show today. How you doing, Danny?
Woo woo, Danny in the building. What's up? What's up?
All right,
yo, Theus is my guy. Just so y'all know, Theus is my guy. We go way back.
Way back. And you know what? I'm glad you brought the energy on this episode. Definitely needed.
Of course.
Appreciate you. So that's how I know
you
it's gonna
know
be a good episode. It's going to be a good episode. I already know. So for those that may not know, can you just, tell us who you are and everything it is that you do?
Okay, so for those that don't know, my name is Danny. I'm from West Hartford, Connecticut. I am a sports videographer, studio operator at Espn. And I'm also an honored talent at Hot 93.7. Hey, I'm on the Hot Morning Show at Hot 937. If you tune in anytime between 6 to 10 a.m., Monday through Friday, literally, you will hear my voice. That's me.
Here we go. You missing something. There's one more thing, right, about you?
Oh, yes. You're right.
That's the most important thing.
My bad. Not even giving myself the respect. I am also an entrepreneur. I launched a business in 2020. It is named Paiges. That is my middle name. That's where the inspiration came from. But I launched a business about luxury organization because you'd be surprised, but self-organization is a form of self-care. We don't glamorize it the same way we do face mask and like all that type of stuff, but it is literally along the same lines. Making sure you're organized is the same way of taking care of yourself. That's what my business is all about.
Facts. And I completely agree with you on that, and just organization as a whole. But I want to save that. I want to save that one for last. I want to save the best for last.
Okay.
Best for last.
Grand finale.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna get into that trust. That's the most important one. That's why I said, hey, I think you're forgetting something. But that one, definitely, we're gonna tap in.
Bad.
Starting from the top, right? ESPN, obviously everyone knows what it is that they do. So how do you get started over at ESPN?
Okay, starting from the beginning.
Yep.
I honestly knew what I wanted to do at a very young age. I remember going to my dad being like, who are the people that who's taping this? What are their names? What is their title? What do they do? And he was like, that's called a videographer. Luckily, I actually grew up in a household where a parental figure was working in the industry I was interested in. Because, some people want to be doctors, but their parents were doctors. So when they go to their parents to ask about doctor questions, the parents are like, I don't know, buddy. Yeah. Luckily, my dad was in the industry. So when I had questions, I got, industry realistic answers because I had someone right there. So that's off rip. My dad is the sole reason I am doing anything that I'm doing. So I gotta give the man the credit. Thanks. I love my dad. It's to him. So I had that bug in me. I knew what I wanted to do when I was young. Our generation growing up, we were preached college. Good job. So I knew college wasn't a time to F around when it came to class.
Right.
Now I did F around. But when it came to class, I was like, I'm only taking the classes that are going to sharpen the skills that I actually want to pursue a career in, which was a communications degree with a writing minor. So I took those things very seriously. And when I went to Eastern Connecticut State University. It actually was literally 10 minutes away from UConn.
Shout out.
I joined the TV 22, the TV club, my first month within college. And I did it every Thursday because it was every Thursday until I graduated, to the point our advisor was like, you are one of the most committed people I've ever seen come through this club, because I was there every Thursday. Like I said, I know what I wanted to do, and I wasn't playing on games on getting the skill level. because I felt that there were obstacles I was going to face in the industry, being a woman, being a Black woman, and being young and not having so much experience. I was like, there might be some biases or might be some, hardships I might face. So what I'm not going to do is have anybody tell me I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to make sure I learn, because you may be able to talk a bunch of other stuff, but what you're not going to be able to say is, I don't know what I'm doing.
Exactly.
So I took that very seriously in college. I learned everything behind the scenes. I did the TV club. I took the TV classes. I took the radio classes. I got the degree in communications. I made sure I did the internships, any broadcasting internships. I made sure I was sharpening my skills. I made sure I was learning what I need to learn so that I wasn't like a one skill Joe, a one talent Joe. I was like, it doesn't matter when I graduate what the job position is. I will have done that. I will have done that. I will have done that. And I will have done that by the time I graduate. And so that's how I went about college. And it really served a great purpose, because 6 months later, I applied to multiple jobs at ESPN. Did not get a couple, but within 6 months, I got hired as a digital content operator. Wasn't my dream job, but it was exactly just what I needed to do where I am now. Yeah. I just needed a little bit of room.
You just got to get your foot in the door.
Run with it.
Get your foot in the door and you're straight. Yeah, get your foot in the door and you're straight.
Exactly. So I got hired in 2017 as a digital content operator. Now, me and my coworkers at the time used to joke like, oh, we're just fancy tape librarians, because I was responsible for, if any producer was like, oh, it's Shaq's birthday and we want a game from when he's in high school, but it's in tape form. My job was to take the tape, ingest it, create a digital file of it, and send it to the producers so that they could do whatever they wanted with it. Okay. And that was my first position. I got hired full time. I was so excited. It was amazing. It was like, I was like completely starstruck. And the thing was, I was on North Campus. I wasn't even on main campus. And I felt like just like so proud of myself. I
mean, you were still young though. You were still young.
I was 22.
Yeah.
I was 22 years old. So to get hired at a place like ESPN at that age, and when you graduate college, that uncertainty and the anxiety that you get of, I got a degree and I'm not doing anything with it. Yeah. To get hired at a place like ESPN as my first gig out of college was like, I can't even put into words what honestly that felt like. It boosted my self-confidence. It really made me take myself seriously as a multimedia journalist and everything I want to do with my career. So I will always be eternally grateful to ESPN, because I don't know if I would have taken myself as serious if they didn't see me and see a chance, an opportunity with me. So gave me the almost a little bit too much confidence.
They gassed you too much? They gassed you too much?
Like a little bit. I was like, do you know who I am? I sweep the floor. I sweep the floor at ESPN.
No, hey, no one got to know that though. No one got to know. Look,
not everybody gets to do that. So
facts.
No, but it definitely gave me a confidence boost. So went off in ESPN running, and I always knew I wanted to be an on-air talent. And to sidetrack off the story, the main reason, just to put this out there, the main reason why I want to be an on-air talent is because, honestly, growing up, there wasn't a lot of representation as far as women that look like me in the media and in the industry. And I always recognized that. I always knew that. And it played a role in my self-esteem. And I'm not here to not be anything other than 100% authentic. It really did. And I literally thought there's no way I'm going to make it on air unless I know everything behind the scenes. Unless I'm like a wizard genius in the studio, they're not going to take someone my complexion serious, which is why I took the behind the scenes so serious, like learning it to further my on-air career. And that was just something I always had in the back of my head, being a Black woman. And it was something I always wanted to overcome and fight. And that's why I almost, even though I don't necessarily feel like that to this day, it's almost like subconsciously like embedded in my work ethic that like I almost will always work to like deteriorate that stereotype of brown skinned women, because I want young girls not to grow up being like, I don't see people that look like me on TV. And if I'm the only person that's there, and there are, honestly, the world has evolved so much. There are tons of beautiful Black women in the industry. One of my main reasons of why I do what I do is, like I said, representation is so important, because I definitely saw the lack growing up. And I definitely was like, if there's anything I can do to make sure the next little girl does not feel the way I did, regardless if that's my own daughter or not, I want to make sure I'm doing that. And that's like something I really want to push, because I want women and young girls that look like me to be like, you don't need a famous dad, or you don't need like all these connections, and you don't have to be a certain type of industry woman to like get to a certain type of level or a certain type of position. Like, you could really authentically be yourself and still make it, because yourself is enough. And that's pretty much, literally more so than myself, why I bust my ass so much. Because I just want to be an example that like literally you can be your crazy, quirky, loud, ratchet, whatever you are self, and still get that position if you put the work in. If you put the work in, you will get there. So I just wanted to side note that into there. But back to ESPN, working on North Campus, we called ourselves fancy tape librarians. And after about 3 months, 4 months in, I was like, you know what? Like, this is a phenomenal opportunity, but it's not enough. It's not enough. And I also don't mean any offense to this, but I'm keeping it real. And as a millennial, like, they're almost Generation Zer coming into the industry at 22, I worked with a lot of older men. Like 90% of my coworkers were older white men. And I saw their behaviors, and I saw like just their energy and the way they acted. And I'm sorry, they were a little bit miserable. Like, not even a little bit, like a lot miserable, to where it literally affected the entire room. Like, the entire work morale was poor because of people's energy and levels. And then it dawned on me, Danielle, imagine doing this for 30 years. You might not have the same 22-year-old energy you have now doing the same job for 30 years, because I'm sorry, but back then they were taught college is the only way to get a good job, or you're also going to work at McDonald's. We were taught the same thing. The only thing is we were coming up young enough at the same age as the technology growth, that we are also young enough to see the evolution of, that's not the only way. That's not the only way, which is why I've had other career pursuits. But thank God I grew up and was born when I was born, because I can't do what they do. I cannot do what they do 40 years. Like, I cannot do that type of work. And I am grateful that I'm not a Generation Zer. I'm honestly grateful to see both the hard work, hustle type of mentality of like, you got to grind, work. Nothing comes overnight. There is no type of success like that, like pay your dues type of grind. But I'm also very grateful to see the trust yourself, believe in yourself. Because sometimes when you do that, it is overnight. Sometimes. And the belief in that and the power in the belief in that. So I'm so grateful of the generation I grew in. But back to you. Anyway, fancy tape librarian. Did that for about a year and a half. I joined the associate program, which any of my recent college grads out here watching, definitely apply. Definitely 100% worth it. Definitely like a great into the company. And then to try, if you don't know exactly what you want to do in TV, this is a great way to figure that out. So the associate program, the associate program is a 2-year program at Espn, technical wise, like the technical side of TV, doing more technical positions. And it's a 2-year program where you do 3 8-month rotations in 3 different departments. So every 8 months, you're eligible for a raise. Whoop, whoop.
Shout out.
And, you know, you get graded. And based on your grade, when you come to the end of the 2 years, the company, based off a company need, also how well you did, they placed you in one of the 3 departments that you participated in the program in. So after 8 months of being a fancy tape librarian, I joined the associate program. And my first position was media support, which was basically taking old tapes and making them digital files, similar to what I already got hired to do. So it wasn't really much of a shock transition, anything. I did 8 months in there, did well, moved on. My next position was master control. And I'm going to be completely transparent, honest when I tell you guys, I failed that rotation.
Ooh.
Like, not even failed. There was, it goes like highly skilled, basic, insufficient. I got an insufficient.
God damn.
And you know what? Honestly, at the time, during that rotation, I really beat myself up. And it was really, really hard because I'm low-key of a perfectionist and I'm very ambitious and I just want to be good at everything I do. And newsflash, guess what? You're not. And guess what? That's okay. I sucked. I got an insufficient, like not even a basic, y'all, like a 0, a -0. Like, I don't think you could fail a test any harder than I failed. And it was really tough on my ego, mainly because ego is so strong, but everything because I was like, oh my God, am I not cut out for this? Blah, 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 the stuff, self-doubt. But like I said, you're not going to be great at everything. And you know what, that position, it taught me the skill. It taught me master control is honestly the position of master control is running the network. The stuff you guys are literally watching, I am basically saying to run that on the television, the commercials, the programming, all of that. If a director tells me we're not going to Sports Center, we're going to baseball, I am the one making that switch to baseball that you guys are seeing on the television. And I'm doing that with commercials, the whole network. You run the network. That's what master control is. And it is a really mentally tough position because ultimately it felt like I was in a room by myself for 8 hours running a television network, which I literally took simultaneously as driving a car. You know, sometimes like you're driving a car, you have to pay attention, but sometimes you're like, how'd I get here? That's like what that job was like, because I was watching TV.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, oh my God, did I check this? Is the audio levels correct? Is the commercials correct? Like, you had to make sure the content that you guys were watching was lining up correctly with like the sheet that they gave you. So sounds easy, but it's a little bit strenuous when you are in a room for 8 hours. And I'm such a social butterfly that working somewhere by myself was extremely difficult for me. And that's why that position was difficult for me. And I realized, you know, some people thrived in it. I'm not that person, and it's okay. And that's something people need to realize. Like, every step of your career, you're not gonna be like the best at. And you've got to take, not that I don't even consider it an L getting an insufficient. I lit a double L. I learned a lesson. Like, I learned so much. I learned time management through that department because I could never be late. I had to be on time because I was relieving somebody who wanted to go home. Just like when it was time for me to go home, I wanted to get my ass up out of there. So please be on time, you know? So I had to be on time. I had to pay attention. It was really out of my element and out of my comfort zone. And I don't even care about the grade I got because I finished it. And I'm so proud of myself because that's so out of my comfort zone of what I normally would like even apply for. That the fact that I did it, finished it, doesn't matter the grade, I made it through. I'm proud of myself because that was honestly really hard for me, but I didn't give up. And that was the main thing I learned from that department and that position was that I'm not going to be good at everything I do. And sometimes I'm going to have to suck it up and go to work and do it. And with my best attitude. And that's just is what it is. That's being an adult. That's being an adult.
Facts.
So
Facts. I mean,
learn that.
You mentioned you mentioned the idea though of like not giving up, right? So like one thing I had a question on, you mentioned it before, was about the 6-month period after you graduated, between like when you graduated and you first got your job at ESPN. So what was that like? Like obviously now it's a good life, you know, working at ESPN, but before before that, what was that time like for you?
It was extremely stressful because, you know, you expect to graduate and you expect to get a job and you expect to get a good job. That's not only a good job, but paying you money, and you expect to like move and get a fancy apartment and be like, guys, I made it. Like I felt an extreme amount of stress because I wanted to prove to the other people I saw successful in my life, whether it was my family, my parents, my older siblings, my cousins, anything. I wanted to prove to them that I was just as worthy, just as capable, just as smart, just as all that, you know, to get a job right after you graduate. That's almost like the ultimate test.
Right.
Yeah, my degree was exponentially worth it because I got a job right away. You know what I mean? So I felt that stress intensely. And after college, I was a nanny through college, but when I graduated, I was nannying. And I remember talking with my mom, like, Mom, I'm so frustrated. Like, I'm not getting dressed up from work. I could literally go to work in sweatpants because I'm a nanny. I don't have like a big girl job. It doesn't matter what I wear. I can eat lunch any time of the day, no matter how long I want to eat it because I'm a nanny. You know, there's no lunch break. And I remember having that conversation with her being like, I just want to get dressed up and feel like I'm doing something with a purpose and like making an impact and like doing something. So when I say I probably applied to 200 jobs, probably more. I was applying every day. The family I nanny for, love them. I was like their adopted daughter. They were even on me about like, while you were watching our kids, did you apply to some jobs? Like they were even on me about like, apply. And that's what I did. I remember I created, the template of the resume and the cover letter. And I remember literally backspacing BET, Viacom, CBS, NBC, like literally just changing the name for the cover letter, for the resume, and shipping them out like crazy to the point I think I applied to like at least five ESPN positions before I even got an email back for the one I got, which wasn't anything I even wanted to do. I got an email back, and I graduated in June, and I didn't have my first interview until November, which granted isn't really a long time in the grand scheme of things, but in those months
Yeah.
June to November feels like forever.
Exactly.
Like, I thought I was in last place. Like, damn, everybody I graduated done got a job already. And like, it's damn near about to be 2017. I graduated in 2016. I'm almost 60 days from the new year and no job. But I just didn't, like, I applied. Like I said, I applied at ESPN multiple times. And to this day, no doesn't faze me. And that segues into another part of my career, which I'll get to when I talk about the radio. But that's a major thing. I didn't take no for an answer. And it's almost crazy because I feel like I'm just now really blossoming and understanding my worth and my value at 26. But at 22, I wasn't taking no for answer. So it was almost, I was ahead of my time before I was helping myself out without even realizing, because I was like, y'all gonna hire me. I don't care if it's today, tomorrow, in 3 years, y'all are gonna hire me. And I still to this day feel that about every single company, because I really believe, like, I don't care if I didn't go to a big name college. Right. I know what's up here. So I've always carried that. So to wrap up ESPN, so we can get to everything else, I was in the 2-year program, did master control. That was my second rotation. And throughout the program, I always mentioned to my manager, to everybody, because this is an important thing. Always, no matter what you're doing, make sure you're telling the right people what you want to do. What you want to do.
Say that again.
No matter what you're doing, make sure, yes, you're telling the people what you want to do. Like, I love doing this. It's cool. It's great. It pays the bills. But I want to do this. I'd be really good at this. If there's an opening, I'm interested. You know what I mean? So I always knew, like I said, this is from 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7, 8-year-old Danny. I wanted to be a videographer. When I was a little girl, I asked my dad, who are the people that tape this? He said it was a videographer. That's why I'm telling you, I cried my first day in the studio. Not because, like, as my grown self making it, it was my little girl and me like, bitch, you fucking did it, y'all. You said you were going to do it and you did it. And that's why also, everybody listening, manifestation and the law of attraction is so real, because I was practicing it at my young age of 6 and 7 years old. Didn't even know I was setting up shit when I was going to be 22, 23 years old. I said I wanted to be a videographer at 8, 9 years old. At 24, I became a videographer. I don't owe anything other than that to my younger self. Shout out to younger Danny, because I literally spoke that to existence, and I had no idea. So I preached throughout the program, because studio was one of the departments I could participate in the program in. And I was like, I want to do one of my rotations in studio so bad. Like, please, 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 please. It was supposed to be my second rotation. 2 weeks before I was supposed to go to studio, they switched me and put me in master control, which I bombed. I failed. They finally, last rotation, put me in studio to be a camera woman, which is a videographer. And I literally, after going through master control, getting double -0, failing beyond words, getting through that 8 months of hating it, but still going to work every day, smiling, doing the best I could to make it where I wanted to make, I literally cried my eyes out, because that had been 3 years at the company, 2 years of doing things I didn't want to do. And on the 3rd year, I finally made it. Like, it felt so good. It really felt, and that's one thing I feel like this younger generation is missing with this, like, instant gratification of instant success, because ain't nothing nothing compares to that feeling of seeing your hard work pay off. Like, seeing those sweat and tears and all that pay off is like an honest to God different type of feeling. Like, there's not a lot of things that compare to that, to be honest. And so finally making it to studio and being a videographer, something I said when I was like 9 years old, and just seeing the power of my tongue, seeing the power of my skill, seeing the power of my will, the power of my ambition, the power of not giving up, continuous applying. Okay, got the job. And then come to find out, I don't like what I'm doing, but sacrificing and making it through there. Also, to mention, everybody young, when I started working at ESPN at 22, I signed up to work nights and weekends and holidays, Christmas, New Year's Eve, Thanksgiving, every Friday and Saturday night. The hours between 6 p.m. to 3 a.m. I was working. At 22, I signed up for that. That was mentally tough because I was seeing everybody my age, just fresh out of college, going to the bar, being young, being their age. And I wanted to do that so bad. Like, I wanted to do that so badly. Like,
the sacrifice. So badly. The sacrifice.
But it was a sacrifice, and it was a hard one. I'm not going to sit here and make it look cookie cutter. Like, I cried to work some days.
It's rough.
Because I was like, I feel like I'm missing out on being my age. But you got,
but that's the sacrifice you make sometimes when you want to reach a certain level of success. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
And that's also something that's very important. You have to be willing to sacrifice, but you also have to be aware enough that you only need to sacrifice a certain extent, because don't sell your whole entirety. Do not draw a line for your mental health and your happiness, because you do deserve that. You should not work to where mental health and happiness is not a thing at all. That's not healthy, and that's not okay. And honestly, I did that for a little bit, and that's not going to get you anywhere faster. It's honestly going to take you slower, because you aren't giving what you could actually give to your work if you were happy and healthy.
Right.
And that's something I didn't realize. So finally finished a 2-year program after I preached so much to them to put me in studio. And then while I was in studio, preached so much to them that I loved it, I was promoted into studio as a full-time studio operator. I do Sports Center. I do NFL Live, Baseball Tonight. I work with some of your favorite anchors. I work with some of the highest paid athletes when they come in for interviews. Like, my job is really freaking cool. It really is. And I've been at Espn now for 4.5 years. And like I said, after 2.5, I finally made it into the department I wanted to be in. And since then, it's been more than I can imagine. I am, like I said, always will forever be grateful. But ESPN helped, but I got myself there. I communicated exactly what I wanted to do, where I wanted to be, always advocated for myself, because you have to do that. Nobody else will. And it did pay off. In the end, it did pay off. The late nights, the overnights, all that, I paid off. And I'm not done yet. It's almost crazy, because I don't know how anybody else in other industries, but I feel like in our industry, our goals are always evolving, because I wanted to be a videographer at 9 years old. And by the time I was 22, 24, when I got to that department, I had other more goals that I already developed beyond just becoming a videographer. But I became a videographer, which was a beautiful moment to cross that goal off, especially as a young girl setting it. But I was like, all right, I'm ready for more. What's next? What's good? Who needs me on their team? Social media? Producer? What's good? Like, I don't know, like I said, about other industries, but I feel like our industry is like constantly, like, once you like learn something and see an aspect of television or content creating or media, it opens up another interest to be like, oh, I learned how to do this, which opened up a glimpse into like how this works. So now I want to learn how that completely works.
You never stop learning.
And that's just like how I find our industry.
Yeah, you never stop learning.
So that's ESPN, 4.5 years. Love it. Phenomenal company. Like, they hold their employees down, career opportunities, movement, job fluidity, promotion path, all that there. I highly recommend it as a place to work. Beginning of your career, damn sure in a career because they hold you down, like I said. But anybody graduating college, I definitely recommend researching internships, researching the programs, because the programs I feel like are meant for college graduates. So they have the associate program, which is the technical side of TV, and then they have the next program, which is the production side of television, where you learn prompter, production assisting. That both are 2-year programs. Both guarantee a promotion at the end of the 2 years. Phenomenal opportunity, especially if you love sports. And the environment and the culture there is just very inviting. The anchors talk to you. You could walk into the studios if you want. Great place to work. Great place to work. But I knew that wasn't going to be enough to get me to the level I am aspiring to be at, which is a multimedia journalist, media mogul, top entertainment influencer. Like, I not only on the journalism reporter side want them to look at me as credible, like Danielle tells the truth, she gets the true facts, she gets the true stories, we could believe the stories she's reporting and everything. I want that from their journalist reporter side, but I want that from the people I'm interviewing side, from just a personable, realistic, human to human. Yeah, you're Lil Uzi, but you're Uzi from Philadelphia. I have family in Philadelphia. We can talk on some regular stuff. I'm interviewing to feel that energy of me, which is so important to my brand, to no matter the success, no matter the jobs, no matter the companies, like, I'm so shocked at some of the positions I'm getting hired for. Like,
that's real.
You know what? Little
That's
girl
a good
from
feeling to have,
whatever.
though. That's a good feeling to have.
And I never want to lose that, because I feel like that's really what gets you to connect to people. And I feel like the better connection you have with people, the better interviews you have. The better interviews you have, the better information you're getting, right? So that's one of my biggest things, of just not remembering, because I'll never forget like where I came from, because like that is me. But just more so always just being mindful of, like, I don't care if I'm interviewing the president, you are just a human being, like,
right.
And I'm going to talk and speak to you as such, because if I idolize you as a way, you might not give me that same human connection. If I treat you as a human, you'll act as a human. You know what I mean? And not to say that people don't deserve their praise. I will give that to them. But I just feel like I want the celebs to be like, listen, I'm in the middle of a scandal. The only person I'm talking to is Danny. Like, I know I gotta talk to somebody, and the only person I'm talking to is Danny, because I know she's not gonna twist my words. I know she's not gonna judge. I know she's gonna listen. I know she's gonna hear me, because at the end of the day, what's an interview? A conversation.
Exactly. That's all it is.
So if you can do conversation well to where, and what I find is when you have authentic, normal conversation, information just flows.
Naturally.
So that's on top of being credible with the journalist side. I also am myself with everything I do. And I feel like that's also why ESPN loves me, and specifically my coworkers, because I am myself. At ESPN, I am only one of 3 Black women in my department. One of 3 Black women in my department.
I mean, you holding it down, though.
Other 2?
You holding it down.
So that's good. Huh?
I say you holding it down, so that's good. I mean,
We all are. I love the other 2, but we are all individual Black women in our own selves, meaning like there's not another one like me. Acrylic nails. This is my real hair, but some days I come in with braids. The next day I come in with a 40-inch wig, inches down to my ankles. Don't say nothing. It is my real hair. Don't ask me. And I think they actually find it refreshing, because I'm authentically myself. I'm not trying to be anything other than a Black woman that's in her 20s as a millennial. You know what I mean? Like, I am me. And I actually think they really do appreciate that. And that's what I've learned in my career. Like, be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself. It's regardless of the company is gonna like it better or not, for your own sake, be yourself. Because don't say you can tolerate stuff you cannot tolerate. You're gonna end up unhappy and miserable in your job. Don't say yes to things you want to say no to that you cannot do, because you're gonna end up tired and miserable. And your mental health is so important in your job. Like, it's so important to protect that, and you're not wrong for protecting it. Listen, I can't do that today. I can't. That's okay to do that. You obviously want to be there for your job and you want to go above and beyond, but some days it's okay to put yourself first.
Protect your mental at all costs.
All right, done with ESPN. Segue to the radio. I worked at ESPN for about 5 months. It dawned on me that, like, this is a great opportunity and this is great, but I don't think it's necessarily going to get me to where the exact level I want to be, this multimedia media mogul. Mind you, I also want to be an on-air talent. That is the dream. Like I said, my dream at 9 years old was videographer. I had dreams built on top of that. As it grew, my TV dream grew. I wanted to be on air. I thought I could do it. I was like, I want to. So I was like, I need to, while having this great full-time job and building my resume, never forget what I came here for. Never forget what I want to do. It doesn't matter where I work. It doesn't matter what my title is. Because people forget why they got there. And that's what I said when I saw my coworkers acting and being miserable. I was like, oh, no. No. I can't forget why I came here, because that's the path, being miserable. So about 5 months in, I was like, I need to get a job, potentially, hopefully, further developing my skills to what I want to do. But nonetheless, I need to get paid, like, if I'm gonna have another job. So I was like, let me try to find a job to where like, everything's lining up. I'm getting paid to further the skills of the career that I want. Newsflash, I happened to see a posting on Indeed.com for the radio station. Funny note is, when I graduated college, which I always forget this in my story, but it's such a staple moment because it's full circle. But before I applied to ESPN, I applied to the radio station to be on their street team, which was just their promo, like, events. Wow. I did not get the job because my background check did not clear, because I had too many speeding tickets, because you have to drive the station's vehicles, and I didn't get the job. So even before ESPN, that kicks me in the stomach. I was like, I can't even get a job at the radio station. I just got a degree. Like, embarrassing. Like, damn. Like, I was really feeling low. So then, obviously, not the ESPN. I'm like, this, Lord Jesus, got it. Made me feel better. But yes, I did not get hired at the radio station. I applied to that before ESPN, which is why this whole story is so funny, because, like, I work at both now. But anyways, they turned me down first time around. Like I said, don't give up, because look at me now.
You got both.
I wish they hired me first time around. I bet they wish.
You got both now, so you're good.
Regardless, didn't hire me now. So, like I said, started ESPN, a couple months into ESPN. I'm like, damn, you know what? This isn't going to get me to exactly where I would need to get. So I need another job. See the posting for an on-air position. I'm like, bet, gonna try it. I apply, no response. I get no response. I applied online. I literally emailed everybody's email I could find on the website, because I was serious about this job. And at this point, I had already gotten a famous corporate job. So I was like, I'm gonna get this job, like, easy peasy lemon squeezy. And they didn't respond to me. So, like, damn. A little hit to my ego after I already didn't get hired by them. So I was like, I work at ESPN. Excuse me. Like, literally, I was feeling like that.
Oh, you thought you were talking shit. I got you.
I did. So I was like, hello. Yeah. So I applied online, no response. went on their website, emailed everybody's email that was on the website. Emailed everybody. Not only did I email them, I went to their Instagrams. I'm a stalker. I DM'd all of them my cover letter.
Oh, you DM'd them too?
I DM'd them.
Yeah, you're crazy.
I copy and pasted my cover letter to all the DJs, all the on-air talent, everybody that worked here. And I sent my resume because y'all was gonna know. Y'all was gonna know I wanted this job. Like,
so did that work?
Listen, no, it didn't. I got no response. I got no response. It didn't even work. Like, didn't even work. So you know what I did, Diaz? You know what I did? Guess what I did?
What's up?
I popped the fuck up. I popped the fuck up. I showed up. No meeting, no nothing, just unannounced. Vibes. Like one day, I was like, yo, I've been emailing them for 2 weeks and I haven't gotten one. I got like one response by somebody saying like, gonna pass this to the boss. Got nothing. Like, so I was like, it was honestly down the street from my house. It was in between ESPN and my house. I was like, it literally makes sense because like, it's literally halfway to my main job and halfway on the way home of my main job.
Like, yeah, so, why not? Why not? I'm just going to do it. You know?
I'm destined to work here. I pulled out. Literally went to the front desk like, hi, I'm here to see DJ Buck. She calls DJ Buck on the intercom like, there's like a Danielle here for you. He was like, okay, whatever. Comes out. He was like, do we have a meeting? I'm like, I've emailed you a couple times. My name is Danielle. I go by Danny. He was like, oh, you're like read my email out, like, and I was like, yeah. So you've seen my emails, huh? Like, yeah, that's me. He was like, okay. Like, he was like, all right, like, we'll set up an interview meeting. You popped up, cool. Like, we'll set something up, cool. Because I showed up. It is ultimately why I got that interview because clearly they weren't responding to my emails, although clearly he saw it. But before he left, he did mention to say, like, you know what? Everybody in this office has come up to me like, yo, I got somebody for you. Her name's Danny. So at first, it seemed like emailing and DMing everybody didn't work because I wasn't getting responses. Whole time it worked because they were talking in person to him.
Okay, so what was the lesson we learned from this? What was the lesson you got from this?
Trust yourself. Don't take no for an answer. That's pretty much it.
I'm not mad at it.
Because if I did, I wouldn't be on the radio.
Yeah.
If I did take no, I wouldn't be on the radio. If I took the first no when I applied, when I first graduated, like, oh, this company's never going to hire me, would have been a no. If I, after that, applied again, even though they didn't, like, even though there's a chance I wasn't going to hire, I still applied. They still didn't even respond. Email, DM'd everybody. Still no response. Showed up. Listen, I got my interview. Got the interview. Didn't get the job. Didn't get the job. I showed up and just got the interview. Didn't even get the job. They didn't even tell me I didn't get it. I had to show up again. Like, what's going on? Did you hire somebody? Are you hiring me? Oh, we're figuring out. We'll get back to you. No email responses, nothing. Showed up one more time, a third time, popped up. I popped up unannounced 3
Why
different
do you keep popping
times.
up unannounced? That's not illegal. They don't got security. They don't got like a. By then, they probably.
I mean, like, it might be illegal for like certain companies. Like, I'm not gonna say I recommend it for every company, but theirs, it was like doable.
It's doable.
No, I'm not gonna say no either for safety reasons. Don't pop up. It's not no. But at the time of 2018, like, yes, I could pop up. It was it to them showed them my determination, which I'm not saying everybody's looks the same because Elle Duncan from ESPN, the anchor, is my mentor. Okay. And I remember going to her like, this is what I want to be on air. You know, I want to be on air. Like, how do I go about it? The radio station has a position. And she was like, Danielle, listen, you go for that position. They say no, you go back. Say you'll work for less. They say no, you go back. Say you'll work for free. She was like, because you got to be willing to take pay cuts. You got to be willing to take sacrifices. You got to be willing to take a risk for your dream. And so that's why I went back multiple times. Like, look, I want the job. No, look, I'm willing to do this and that. No, I'm willing to work for free. I still got told no. I still got told no. And they were like, you have to join the street team. The reason why I didn't want to join street team is because I had done an internship at iHeartRadio in college, which was the equivalent. And I thought because I worked at ESPN and because like I was like, I already did that in college, like I'm better than that. Let me tell you, there's several women from ESPN that went out for that same position I went out for to be on air talent. They got told the same thing by Buck. You got to join street team. Those girls didn't do it. I joined street team. I sucked it up. I thought it was better than that position. He told me that was the answer to getting on air. I'm going to do it. I feel like I'm better. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I already had a full-time job. I didn't even need the money.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just going to do it because that's how I'm willing to do something I don't want to do to get to where I want to do. And I remember girls from ESPN being like, oh, yeah, you work at the radio station now. I tried to do that, but he told me how to do that, and I didn't want to do that. And I was like, me either, but I'm doing it now, and I'm getting training to be on air. And 7 months into doing that, 7 months, I was on air. 7 months of doing the job I didn't want to do, I was on air. Like, that's it. That's it. And that's just like that stuff, like looking back on it, I can't believe I was the woman that I was to do that. Like to go in there to like literally demand a job.
You're wild.
To not get it.
You're wild.
To
Congratulations.
the job I thought I was better than to do it and to like it work out. Like I can't believe I was that girl at that age. I was 22, 23. I'm 26 now. Like, even though it's only 3 years ago, I'm like, thank God I was like that because that's where I am right now, where I am. But like, it's just crazy. And that's something I want my young women to understand. Like, trust yourself, believe in yourself, and be yourself. Like, I think the world teaches us to not do that because I think that's a way to conform us to keep doing the societal bullshit. But I think the real power and navigating this life, and I think the really way to like make this life your bitch instead of being the life's bitch, make the life your bitch, is by being authentically yourself in every environment and situation. To be completely honest, because I feel like that's what thrives with me at ESPN because there is a lack of me there. And because I'm so authentically me, I think that's what makes them appreciate my presence. And then I also feel like that's why I got my job at the radio because I was like, listen, I know y'all need me and I don't have any experience, but I'm not. Like, I know y'all need me and I'm willing to work. So what else is there? Like, really tell me what is in between of that? Y'all need me and I'm willing to work. Where is that's literally where it makes that's where it makes sense. The ability to see where you're needed and them see where you're needed, but your ability to meet them halfway and be like, I'm putting in the work. I'm coming in for free. I'm coming in on my day off. I'm coming in after my shift. And ultimately, I know it's such a long story, but between the two, that's what I did. And that's where I got to where I am. I'm on the #1 morning show in Connecticut radio, like literally the #1 morning show of Long Island, Massachusetts, in Connecticut. And I've only been working at the radio for 3 years, only been on air for 2.5. Like, literally.
Talk your talk.
Like,
that's what's up.
Literally. Like, and that's because I believed in myself. Point blank, that's really what it was. More than anything, more than the confidence of y'all need me, I'm walking in the door. I really believe, like, Danielle, you have the ability to do the expectation of the job and beyond to where you can walk in this door uninvited, unpopped up. Because I believe in myself so much that I can do it. And that's where that confidence to walk in that door came through. But specifically in our industry, no one's gonna believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. Because had I not shown up, they would have never returned my emails. And I would have never been where I am. And I would never be able to talk this story had I not shown up, because I just blatantly, even if they say no, I believe in myself. I'm coming. You could tell me no, but I owe it to myself. I believe in myself that much that I owe it to myself to try. And that's ultimately where it comes down to. Has nothing to do with these big company names, has nothing to do with the title of the job, has everything to do with yourself. You owe it to yourself to put in that work. You owe it to yourself to try, even if no one else sees it. You owe it to yourself to sacrifice and do the hard work. Like, you owe it to yourself, because yourself deserves the best. And sometimes to get the best, you gotta work hard, but that's not a bad thing. And I feel like we aren't taught that enough to where we understand our worth when it comes against these big companies, because you can get taken advantage of. But ultimately, the key to success, regardless of any industry, and I swear on banking on any happiness, is rocking with yourself wholeheartedly. And that's what I want my overall message, brand, anything I do to radiate. Like, anything I do, I want people to be like, she's just being herself. Like, and that's what I want everybody else to do. Point blank, period. So,
I mean, and it's crazy because I think your situation is very unique in that you are and you were and are doing two things that you enjoy, right? You know, ESPN and the radio, but you also opened up your own business. And so it's like most people, I feel like when they open up their own business, they're using that as an escape. But it sounds like, you're doing everything that you enjoy and you still open up your business. So what was, I guess, the inspiration behind that to start something new, even though meanwhile you were in a state of happiness? You like that question? I saw your reaction.
I love that question. I love how you worded that, because I honestly never thought of it like that, because sometimes you don't appreciate where you are. And I feel like young people have a really bad habit of doing that. I know I am. And that almost made me take a step back to appreciate where I am more, because I do have great positions, but I'm not going to lie. I started my business to quit. I want to be financially free, and I want to do it on my own terms as my own boss. I don't like working for anybody. I don't like authority. I don't like the political side of corporate America. And that's my biggest pet peeve, I would say, with ESPN and like corporate America in general. Like, I don't like that aspect. Oh my God, starting to rain. I don't like that aspect of the political BS side of it. Like, and I guess only corporate people would understand what I mean by that, but it's a thing. Yeah. So I started my business because I knew I wouldn't be able to do this for 40, 60 plus years like our parents did. And I was like, I need to create something that will tie me up financially past this. And I didn't want to force it though. And that's one big thing I didn't want to do. So last year during COVID, during 2020, everybody didn't work. I was off of work for a couple months. And during those couple months, I really got used to not working. Like, I was like, I low-key fuck with this, not going to work every day. So if there's something I could do to make this a thing, like, let's do it. So I open up my mindset to thinking like, yo, I could like literally potentially be like an entrepreneur, because that's like a thing of our age nowadays. Growing up, it's especially Black, to be a Black owned business seemed like so like far-fetched and like not a realistic like goal. But in our generation and seeing the younger generation and seeing, social media and technology, we're like, okay, that's more and more of something attainable, achievable, something I could do. Even with that mindset, I was like, I don't want to do anything that like other people are doing, because like I try not to do that with everything I do, even like my jobs. Like, I don't try to do camera moves traditionally. Like, I try to do everything like special, because I feel like I'm special.
The unique.
So
I got you.
I like felt a little bit of pressure about figuring out a business, but I was like, you know what, Danielle, I'm going to put it out to God. God knows I want to do something bigger than me. He knows that I've talked about I'm ready for the next chapter. I'm ready to elevate. I'm ready to do something bigger. I'm ready for the next cause. He knows. I've talked it. I've manifested it. I've put it out in the universe. I've prayed to God. I've spoken it. At this point, all I'm going to do is be open. I'm just going to be open. I'm going to be open to listen, open to receive. And I'm telling you, within 2 days of me saying, because I was stressing myself out, like, you need to think of my business, like, so clothes, so headband, so weave, like, and I was like, I don't want to do any of those things. And like, that's how I was like, you know what? Stop, breathe. You've put it out there. Stop like forcing it. If it's supposed to happen, you'll think of something. I'm telling you, within 2 days, I had spilt water on my planner. And I'm like an OCD, like planning type of bitch. Like I write down everything to like fold laundry, clean bathroom, walk your dog, pack lunch. Like I literally write everything down. So I'd spilled water on my planner and I needed a new planner. Go to the store to buy a planner. Went to 4 different stores because I did not see one I liked. Ended up going back to the same first store, buying the very first planner I saw. I went to 4 different stores, saw nothing. Went to the first store, bought the first planner I saw. It was like, I just wasted my whole day, but whatever, because I need one regardless. Later that night, I'm laying in bed and I'm like thinking of crossing things off my to-do list. Like, I'm just like, okay, tomorrow I got to go to the gym and I got to do this. And I'm just like imagining crossing it off. And like a thought struck in my head, like, oh my God, like, what if I had a Q pen to cross off in my Q planner? And then I literally was like dropped my, like, I was laying down. I literally woke up in my bed, like, I could design planners that I like, because most likely other women would like them, because the planners I want to use, I don't see on the shelves. I went to 4 stores today. Didn't see one planner that I was rocking with. But I know what the planner I would rock with looks like in my head. So I was like, you see how natural that is? That's something I use in my day-to-day life. Like I need, like I literally was like, spent all day looking for planners because that's how serious about my planner. Like I like to have a cute one. It keeps me organized. It keeps me on my day-to-day. I got a busy life. I need to know what I'm doing every day. I love a planner, and I love one when I specifically feel good about writing in it. And I usually feel good about writing in my planner when I feel like it's cute, because I feel like I'm cute. So I was like, oh my God, Danielle, this is it. Literally like laying in bed, like naturally woke up, like I figured it out. This is it. And then I was thinking about, okay, what would I call it? Like, what would I call it? Like my last name was Fountain. So I was like, Fountain of Youth, Fountain of Paper.
Hey, be careful what names you say, because someone might, listen to this and use that. So unless you, already trademarked them, someone might use those already.
Go ahead, use the Fallon. You better not use the name of my business, though, because I'll come and beat your ass. Period. Like, I don't care how professional, I will still come beat your ass. So, yes, my middle name is Paige. And I was like, planners, paper, pages, planners, hello. And it literally came so authentically, so me, so not trying to be nothing that I am, something that I use on a daily basis, that I spend my money on, regardless. Before I even thought about thinking of it as a thing I could do, I was a consumer before I thought of myself as a business. And it literally came to me at night because I asked, I opened up to receive it. I put this all in God's hands, because when I tell you, I was so sure on it that I hit the ground running instantly. This came to me in July of 2020. I put out my first planner in February of 2021. That's literally only 6 months later. 2020, came up with the idea, came up with the name, bet I'm doing this, and I'm doing this for 2021. I'm not fucking around. I'm not waiting around. I'm on it. Started doing the research, watched mad YouTube videos about financial stuff, e-commerce business, websites to sell your stuff on. I did so much research. I thought I was in college again. And then finally got to the fun part. I got to design. Started designing the product. I work 2 jobs. I work 7 days a week. My days off do not line up. My days off from ESPN are Wednesday, Thursdays, but get this. On Wednesday, Thursdays, I still have to be at the radio at 6 a.m. My days off from the radio are Saturday, Sundays. But get this, on Saturday, Sundays, I still have to be at ESPN those nights. So I work 7 days a week, every week. And when I'm not at work, usually I'm catching up on sleep because I work overnights at ESPN and I work very early mornings at the radio, that I'm sleeping during the day to catch up to go back at to ESPN at night.
That sounds
But in between even the work shifts, in between the work shifts, 7 days a week, in between the sleeping around the work shifts, 7 days a week, I built, I customized, I researched, I negotiated, I got a product built. Do you know how no one will ever understand what November 2020 to February 2021 was like for me. But that was the most, I worked myself too hard. And that's what I said, have your boundaries and have enough self-awareness to say no, because I was working myself into the ground, trying to do both jobs, trying to be at both schedules, trying to launch my own business on the side, that I literally almost put myself in a psychotic break because it was entirely too much. Now, yes, winter depression is a real thing, and we live in Connecticut, and so that plays a role into it. But ultimately, I should have been asking, I've been at both my jobs for a substantial amount of time, that I can start asking for time. I need some time. I am working a lot. I need a break. And that's something I was not doing for myself. And I was not advocating for myself. And that is so substantial to the health and the endurance of your career. You have to, it's not going to just happen for you. They will take advantage of you. Sorry, but they will. You have to advocate and stand up and have boundaries, or no one else will do that for you. Even your job will do that to you. And that's something I wasn't doing, trying to do all these things at once. It really physically, emotionally, and mentally took a toll on me to where I got sick. But no, it wasn't COVID. But ultimately, because I have a strong support system, I was able to get through that, able to persevere, able to launch my planners. My planners costed $10,000. I never saved up a penny in my life until COVID, because we couldn't go anywhere. Right. Thankfully, in COVID, I learned how to save money. Finally, save up a good amount of money to move, to do a bunch of shit. And I all of a sudden want to start a business. And all of a sudden the business costs the same amount of money that I finally was able to get my grown ass to save up. The irony. And I'm asking my family and friends, do I do this? This is a big investment. Do I do this? I'm scared. I don't know. Is it worth it? And I'm not going to lie. Most people were my parents were I don't know, but I really don't think I would drop that bread. Guess who dropped that bread? You. Because guess what? The same energy I felt with the radio station not answering, it's the same energy I felt behind that. I believe in myself. And believing in yourself doesn't mean that you're ruling out the possibility that you might fail. I believed in myself when I hated that department in ESPN. But I still win every day, even though I literally, like I said, got a double -0, couldn't fail any more than a -F. That was my grade. But I believed in myself and so much higher than just that grade that I still showed up every day, even though I was failing. Showed up to the radio, even though I was being told no. Dropped my life savings on my own personal business investment, even though my parents, everybody, my support, even to my support system, to my parents, were telling me listen, I don't know, because listen, who's gonna do it if you don't do it for yourself? Mm-hmm. Who's gonna do it? And that's everything about It's so funny. I had this conversation with my parents literally last night, and I'm talking to them about like just the next stage of my life and what I want to do in my career and what direction I'm trying to go in, how I'm trying to build my business and all that. And my parents are like, Danny, you're stressing yourself out because you think everything is going to happen at once. You think everything's going to be perfect at once. You think everything is this, everything, life, babies, husband, married, promotion, everything's going to happen at the same day. Like, they're like, that's causing you so much stress. And yes, it is. And I'm not going to sit here and say that it's something to strive for, because I think there's a balance between it. But I was saying to my parents, like, because my dad says something like, when I was your age, I was just happy I was making salary and my age number.
Yeah.
And I was like, but Dad,
times have changed.
I understand that. And that's something that, like, right, like that, like you're 30, happy to make 30.
Yeah. Times have changed.
Times have changed.
Times have changed.
A lot. And I was like, I'm not listening and not hearing what you're saying, in the sense of I need to be more appreciative in the moment or whatever. And I also need to be willing to understand that things may not go how I want them, and they may not look how I want them, and they may not feel how I want them. And I need to be open and okay with that. But I was like, I don't think it's a problem, because this is how it's always been my whole life. It's like, I don't think it's a bad thing that, yes, I do show up expecting everything to go as planned. That's not wrong, because that's how I live my life. I literally expect to get the job. That's why I have this energy, because I believe in myself. I expect my business to be successful and flourish because I believe in myself. I expect, and like I said, there's a balance. I do need to be open-minded to change, and that everything may not look like how I want to, but I was like, don't tell me I'm wrong for expecting the best. And that's what I think has been my greatest driver with my career. I do expect the best for myself. One thing I do need to work on is that it may not always look the way I want to. It may not happen the day I want it to happen. And you do have to be open to the process and the journey. But no, baby, expect the best. Expect that you will get that job. Because if you don't, you won't go after it. You won't try. There's no chance.
I mean, you can't be afraid to bet on yourself. I think that was the biggest lesson I got from that is,
Definitely. You've got to.
And I'm sure it wasn't an easy decision for you either. I mean, the way like you were set up, it's like, all right, it's definitely a risk, but you were comfortable.
There's so many things I could have did with that money.
Exactly.
There's so many things I could have did with that money. And that's not even a lot of money, but like for me and my age.
Exactly. Yeah. Perspective. Yeah.
Yes, I could have did many things with that money, but even with like literally I remember going to my parents like stressed to the point I had tears in my eyes, like, guys, I didn't think it was going to cost this much money, and they just hit me with this call, and I don't know what to do, and I'm like so stressed out because I have to make a decision like ASAP, and like, do I drop this or not? And my parents were really like, no. And I was so hurt, honestly. Because I really needed a push. I really needed somebody else to push me, right? Like, I really need someone to be like, bitch, do it. Yep. And you would think out of anybody, your parents would be those people. And this is not a knock to my parents. My parents are fucking amazing. They're phenomenal parents. And we just are living in two different times of 20s in the world, like they were completely different people and at my age at their time of living than the way we are at our time of living. And they were, not that they didn't believe in me and didn't believe in my product, that just to them and their mindset and where they come from was so scary. And I needed someone to push me, but ultimately, guess what?
Sometimes you gotta push
yourself.
Yes,
you gotta push yourself.
Sometimes you just gotta push yourself. I mean, it's
push yourself. Like, if you want it and you bout it, you gonna push yourself. I was about it. So I pushed myself. I was scared as hell, but I was about it.
But
and
it worked
I stand
out.
on my decision.
Stand
on it. Exactly. And that's just like the biggest, like, I really don't think there's any real serious advice I could literally give anybody, like obviously there's a go-to. Study what you want to learn. Learn everything. Don't just learn what you want to do. Learn everything involved with what you want to do. That's how you are a well-rounded person to work with. The best anchors I work with at ESPN are the ones that know the cameras, the lighting, the stuff. The worst anchors I work with at ESPN are the only ones worried about reading a prompter. The ones that know what they're doing and what everybody else are doing are the best to work with, are the best at their job, are just the best overall. And learn that. And that is a form of self-worth and self-value. You are elevating yourself by elevating your skill and your skill set and your skill level. And you see it as getting jobs, but just take a step back. Take the job title away from it and identify yourself as an individual with your skill sets. Take away the job title and just look at you in the skill sets you have developed for yourself, and look how much you will see your value differently versus the job title. It'll change your perspective around you so much. You guys can call me this all you want. I know I learned this, that, and the third, so I'm actually really here. I'm telling, like, and when you look at it, like, also the things you want to learn. Take away the job title. Just think about the things you want to learn. Like, you will start setting the price of your self-value versus a job title that some corporate will give you. And that is, to me, that is everything to anybody's career in any industry. Learn, like, see the worth in yourself to develop yourself to have these high level skilled sets to where, like, you understand, like, buddy, I'm right here. Meet me here. Bye.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Especially if you're young. If
you're letting a job tell you that, you will only understand your worth to what the job tells you.
Yeah. You got to have leverage, especially if you're young.
Exactly.
But, like, if you could, so, like, walk me through your process in terms of, like, if someone orders a planner, and what's, like, your next step? Because I see, like, a lot of people, like, on Twitter, Instagram, whatever, taking pictures of them and, like, their shipments or whatever. So, like, what's usually like, how does that go? Like, what's the,
so the process of me shipping out is I will get an order, and I like to ship out ASAP because customer service is everything. I've had people, because of me, the post office, like, loose packages. You lost your package. It's the post office fault. No charge. Here's another one. Shipped it out yesterday. It was already on your way, like, before I even messaged you, because that's really important. But my process, like, I use Shopify for anybody interested in opening an e-commerce business. I did the research. Etsy is great. I like Shopify. I use Shopify. They are great with sending out everything as far as customer service for me. Like, they handle all that, tracking numbers, all that. You pay a monthly subscription, they handle the customer service for you. Phenomenal service. I love it. That's what I use. I have it on my website. I have it on my Instagram. I usually try to post, and this is something, I never took a marketing class. I never took a business class. So this is something I'm literally honestly doing blindly, and I'm learning as I go. And I'm learning every day that there's things I could literally do way better, but I'm learning and I'm getting there.
No wrong with failing forward. You know, you learn as you go, kind of thing. Take action, then
exactly. It's a learning process. So I just try my best not to beat myself up about anything that I'm like, I should know this. Well, I never took even business 101. So the fact that I don't know it, I'm not going to beat myself over it. Anyways, I get an order through Shopify, like either through Instagram, Facebook, my website, whatever. Get an order. I am understanding, especially I think nowadays with our generation, packaging and branding and promotion is so important. Where, like, my mom, like, growing up, they never gave a fuck what the package came in or what it looked like. But, like, us, you know, the bags be nice. They leave a little note. They, you know, like, they make it personalized, and that's very big in part of branding. And my whole brand is luxury, so I'm not just trying to sell a luxury product. my luxury product is to enforce luxuriousness within yourself, to feel good about like writing down what you have to do tomorrow, because self-organizing is self-care, and self-care means you value yourself and you feel worthy of goodness. So that's what my whole thing, my whole brand, my whole products are promoting. Like, take care of yourself, because taking care of yourself is like good, you know. So they ordered the planners. I bought these nice boxes, have confetti. I make it really pretty in the box. Like, tape it up nice and tight, print out the shipping label, go to the post office, which is honestly my favorite part of the process, besides designing the planner, honestly, is the shipping. I love putting the planner in the box. I love building the box, filling the box up with confetti, putting the planner in the box, folding the box down, taping the box, taping the label on the shipping label on the box, driving the boxes to the post office, putting the post office in the little pulley. I literally love that. That is such a fulfilling feeling. Like, it's like, I love it so much. And that was a part of it that I didn't really know that I was going to like anticipate liking so much. And like, it's funny because I'm like, I remember doing it when I first started and I was like, oh my God, this is so much fun. Yeah. And I didn't realize how much I would like it. But shipping is honestly my second favorite part of the whole process of between design. My least favorite part is the finances. Numbers, not my thing. Because like, I'm looking at it like, oh my God, I made this much money, like, yay. And then there's people like, well, you have to factor in the tape and the shipping boxes and the confetti. And I know that's important, but I'm like, you're raining on my parade, okay? Like,
well, I mean, that's why, I mean, to me, it's so important to, just obviously run your own race. But there's definitely a point in that, to the revenue is good, but obviously, if there's expenses and stuff, you got to make sure, one of those numbers is higher than the other. But
exactly. And that's really, really important to keep track of if you want to have like a legitimate, successful business. And that's one thing I'm learning throughout this process. I'm like, okay, like, I'm not a real CEO because there's a lot of things that I'm learning and I don't know. And I definitely want to make that transition into becoming a real CEO, which is why I was having that conversation with my parents last night about just like career and what I'm doing next. Because they were saying like, you expect everything to work out just like this. And I'm like, what's wrong with that? But at the end of the day, like, the most important thing I would say is believe in yourself, number one. And number two, this is what I would say the 3 rules for navigating through your career in any industry with any type of people. Number 1, believe in yourself. Number 2, advocate for yourself. And number 3, take up for yourself. You need a day off, bitch, take the day off. Like, you know what I mean? Take care of yourself. Those are the 3 things I think are important. No one's going to believe in you if you don't. No one's going to stand up for you if you don't. And no one's going to go after, make it happen if you don't. And
I would say too, like going off those 3 things, I have one final question for you. It's a question that I ask everyone that comes on the show. How do you want to be remembered? Like when it's all said and done, you know what I'm saying? How do you want to be remembered?
I honestly want to be remembered literally as the person I came here on, myself. I want people to be like, that bitch was one crazy motherfucker and she was really fun, but she sure did work hard and she did everything she said she was gonna do. That's how I want to be remembered. Like I swear, and I've said this since high school, I feel like I am a walking definition of work hard, play hard. That's the only thing I embody. That's the only thing I talk to people. That's the only thing. Like, I'm never going to tell anybody about themselves or what to do or what not to. Like, I'm not like that. Like, all I got to say is, bitch, work hard and you going to do what you. I literally don't care what you do in your free time. Yeah. If you working hard and taking care of what you got to do.
You deserve it.
it like, I like people, like I remember in high school, people, and yes, I may be snitching on myself. This may get a bad little look, but I want to be nothing but just real and my authentic self. I drank in high school, and I remember people would be like, "Oh my God, Danny and her friend group, like they're just some party girls." What was my SAT score?
I was gonna say, if you
Did I get into college? What are my grades? So who's talking? What are we talking about? Because my stuff is handled. It's in the back. Like, I'm taking, and that's my thing. Like, I make a lot of mistakes. Like, I don't want anybody to take away from this episode that, like, Danny is a perfectionist. I've been to jail. I've gone arrested. I've made my mistakes. I've done my shit. Like, please, like, to this day, I'm making mistakes. I'm learning as I go. It is not easy peasy lemon squeezy at all. I cry all the time. It is hard. It is a struggle. By the day, I am trying my authentically best. I am being myself throughout it all. And even through the toughest times, I literally believe the picture in my head is going to come true. And that's why I keep going. Point blank, period.
Right.
And I just want that everybody take that from this. Like, and that's why I want everybody to remember me as like, Danny never once ever in any stage, at any point, at any place was not Danny I know. Because anybody that knows me will be like, man, I know Danny. Because you know me. I want everybody that knows me to never, ever once in their life to be able to be like, no, I don't know who she was right there. I want them to be like, no, that's the crazy. I almost wish she wasn't doing that right now.
Yeah, like yeah, that's Danny for you. Yeah.
And that's literally all. That's all I want people to be like. That's Danny for you. That's always been her. That always will be here, and that's it. And I know things will work on, and I will. I'm always evolving, but I will. That's my biggest thing. Like I don't care. The biggest celebrity, Rihanna, to freaking the next person on the street. Y'all are still people. Yeah, y'all like. What's the only difference is money, and money is a societal thing we built. That's nothing, really. A good heart is more valuable than dollars.
We all breathe the same air. Just the way I see it.
Exactly. So that's all I want. Like that's the majority. That's like my whole thing. Like that's what I want. Like everything.
So all right, then one last thing. Then thank you obviously for pulling up on the episode.
Thank you, Diaz. I know I was late. I'm sorry.
No, see, no one had to know that until you said it. It's all good.
Okay, I was late, y'all, but Diaz, we go way back. That's not
we Gucci. So let's do this though. Drop your socials. For your personal as well as your business page too, so people can follow you, check you out, drop your website, all that. So feel free to promote yourself right now.
Yes, guys. So if you wanna, I'm open to answering any questions, any advice, any of all that. Like, you guys can come to me about any questions, like literally career to just woman questions. I'm entirely open book, here to talk, here to help. That's what we're all here for, to help each other elevate. So you guys can hit me up on Instagram, Twitter, all my social medias are legit the same thing. TikTok, Tumblr, Instagram, IG, Snapchat, all of them are We Love Danny. Is WeeLoveDanni. Listen, I was in 8th grade when I made my first social media, and I thought I would keep everything the same. So that's why I am here today where I am. We Love Danny, WeeLoveDanni. If you want to look at my YouTube, which I talk a little bit more about my journey and all that, it is the same thing. We Love Danny. Everything is We Love Danny. If there's a We Love Danny that is not me, report the bitch.
We'll do.
Why
do you keep forgetting that?
My business. I'm still a new entrepreneur, so it'd be like it's not second nature. I have to remember.
That needs to be the top thing.
My new business page, my business. If you guys want to order a planner, I still have some in stock. I don't have many, so order them quick. But you guys can go to paiges.co. That is the Instagram. It is Paiges, PAIGES COPages.co. And then you can go on my Shopify, which is where you can purchase the planner, which is pages-co at shopify.com. So
lovely.
Guys, go to that. And thank you, Theus, again, once again. This was so fun. We got to link up in person though. It's summertime.
Of course, facts. We outside.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you, you know what I'm saying, for pulling up. I think this is a dope episode. Shout out to you for everything that you're doing, right? You ESPN radio, now your own business. So definitely congrats and blessings to you. Appreciate you for pulling up the episode.
Shout out to you, Theus. You doing big things. Like, don't be over here acting like Mr. Humble. But hey, he be doing some big things, y'all. Okay, if you don't know, he be doing big things with the NBA. This
was your episode, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to make sure to give you your flowers. You know, we gotta make sure we do that to all of our people.
Thank you, Theus.
No doubt. So with that being said, y'all, for those of y'all listening, appreciate y'all for pulling up as always. Again, I'm your host, Theus Elijah McBee. Appreciate you, Danny, for pulling up. Just like that, we out. See you on the next one.
Peace.